I know a lot of people watching the news right now. This story is going quite viral. So y'all do me a favor. Please hit that thumbs up and share this video. It was on my heart to talk about this when I saw it for a lot of different reasons. I want y'all to understand that this man is very young. This man has an opinion. This man has a family, a wife, and kids. This man's life was taken for no good reason at all. And it just really just shows the worst in people when something like this happens. So I do kind of want to talk about this. It's more political related than it is specifically about kids. But I wanted to talk about this and share this because it was on my heart to do so, okay? Let me give you a disclaimer and then we'll go from there.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
And I'm getting this story from apnews.com. So thank you very much for the article. Even though there's a million articles out right now. Shout out to Tiffany Copeland. Thank you for showing some love. And Tim P. Davis, always showing some love. Thank you both for showing some love in that super chat. It counts there as well. So thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. I haven't watched for at least 3 years becoming disabled. Don Roggs, much love. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you all. Y'all do me a favor. Please hit that thumbs up. Excuse me. Let me tell you guys this. I'm going to get onto the media first because I watch a lot of Fox News. I see all the stuff that they post, the things that they care about, what's near and dear to their heart. Shout out to Fox News. I think they do an amazing job. I think they're the most fair news publication that's out there, in my humble opinion. Some of you guys might like some of these other stations, and I'm not here to turn you off from them. But there have been many opportunities that those other stations have gotten, many opportunities that they had to bring people with different views on, to talk, speak their mind, maybe even debate, so you can see both sides of the spectrum. I don't know how we got so far off when it comes to only wanting to hear one side. I just never thought, I'm an 80s baby, y'all, okay? I'm an early 80s baby, so shout out to y'all if y'all are older than me. I don't remember us being in such a place where you only wanted to hear one opinion, one voice. One opinion, one voice. I think that's weird, right? The things that we fought for in this country, from the Civil War to racism and slavery and laws and things, to get to a place to where we can start to make this country fair and free for everybody, right? You would think that since 2000, the year 2000, 25 years later from the year 2000, you would think we'd be at the best place we ever have been. And to be honest, it seems like we've taken about a 30-year step backwards. Maybe even longer than that. The way that this man lost his life, what he lost his life over, and the son of a bitch that took his life, what did he do this for? You can never justify it. You can't explain it. It just needs to be punished. And I really hope and wish that people like this man would think about their protection a little bit more. Like, you would think that somebody like him who's not really on a big scale, like, you know what I'm saying? He's not necessarily known worldwide. He's making some waves, right? Charlie has been making some waves, but he's not exactly the most known person. I knew him because I started watching videos. Got to give a shout out to Fresh and Fit when they were starting to go to the campuses and do debates with people, opening it up so people can come in with different thoughts, different opinions, and they can kind of give their thoughts and opinions, and people can try to talk this thing out, because there's a lot of tension in this world, in our United States, when it comes to politics, whether it be left or right, whether it be Republican, Democrat, somewhere in the middle, right? There is a lot of dissenting opinions. And you would think that people like that, your Candace Owens, and shout out to Candace Owens, I like her, and it's a lot of other people out there. Got to give a shout out to Tommy Sotomayor because I've been actually on tour with him. And I'm going to tell y'all, especially at the time, and I can share this personal story and y'all can understand where I'm coming from because this is kind of where my channel started from because I actually started being on Tommy's panels first, right? And I remember the very first tour that we went on was in Dallas, and there was a real fear that if people knew in advance where we were going to be at, that somebody was going to either try to get us shut down or somebody was going to try to hurt that man, right? So thank goodness for him that he thought smart as he possibly could. Just thankful for him that he had some friends like me in relationship rehab and some other folks that were prepared in case some shit wanted to jump off, right? That's great that we were able to actually do some tour dates and they went good. But it scares me to think like all these people want to do is go out there and give people an opportunity to challenge them on their views. This is what Charlie Kirk has been doing. I love the idea. Let me say this again. I love the idea of going to a college campus where you would think that some of the young, brightest minds would want to debate you, not kill you, right? You would think they want to debate. You would think they would want to challenge you. You would think that they want to go home and do their homework. You know Charlie's coming. I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to come up with the best questions, the best scenarios, and let me challenge him intellectually. Because if we want to go back and get onto some gangster shit and just start shooting at people because we don't like what they say, we don't like what they think, we don't like where they live, we don't like the choices that they made in life, where are we at? I don't understand that. It makes me upset because you guys know early in my YouTube career, certain stories and certain people that I've spoken about, I have actually gotten death threats when it was Twitter, right? Through my email. People trying to get a hold of my phone number, trying to find where I live at and stuff like that. And just I'd like to call them empty threats because it's been all these years past and ain't nobody wanted to throw a grape in a food fight, right? I don't think I'm the baddest dude, and clearly skin is very fragile. My skin ain't gonna stop no fucking bullet, excuse my language. But at the same time, there's a lot of people out there that are all talk. But what do you do when it comes to a situation like this when people don't want to talk? When people just want to take your life and they're going to take an opportunity just because they're too damn coward to live in their own damn opinions or challenge somebody. So Utah, Charlie Kirk, who is a conservative activist, and I'm getting this from apnews.com, is a close ally of President Donald Trump, who played an influential role in rallying young Republican voters. He was shot and killed at a Utah college event in what the governor called a political assassination carried out from a rooftop. I'm going to say that again. And thank y'all for showing some love. I appreciate that. He was shot from a rooftop. And you would think after literally just watching Donald Trump not even a year ago almost get assassinated, had bullets flying in his direction from a rooftop, you would think that if you were going to be at a campus in a place like this, after just watching what he just went through, that maybe if you're going to, like I don't know what Charlie's funds look like. I'm assuming that either the college will provide the security or you could pay some security to at least watch the rooftops, to at least try to somewhat vet people who are coming in to come sit or something. That just seemed real weird. And on top of that, did y'all know there is actually some video footage that people recorded and saw somebody actually moving on top of a roof? Did y'all know that? How many of you guys actually got that update? Because I just got that before I started this live stream. This situation is too familiar for us to miss that. They saw somebody allegedly crawling on a roof, dressed in all black, and still was able to get the shot off. Is mind-boggling to me. This is a dark day for our state. It's tragic for our nation, said Utah Governor Spencer Cox. I want to be very clear. This is a political assassination. We'll get to that picture here in a minute. That's one of the people initially that they thought it might have been, but the police are coming out and saying it was not that guy. Nobody was in custody late Wednesday, though authorities were searching for a new person of interest, but they do have somebody in custody right now, just so y'all know. So if you missed that part of the news, they do have somebody in custody, a person of interest that they are interrogating or interviewing, however you want to call that. But put a pin in it, we'll come back. According to law enforcement officials familiar with the matter, who was not authorized to discuss the situation by name and spoke on a condition of anonymity. Authorities had earlier provided evolving information on the status of the search, with FBI Director Kash Patel initially saying on social media that a subject had been taken into custody, only to later say that person has been released, but was being questioned. He was questioned and they let him go. But there's somebody else in custody right now. Okay? Authorities did not immediately identify the person who has been in custody, a motive, or any criminal charge, but there's a lot of reason behind that. So what they want to do is they want to try to get as much information as they can. If people saw something and they'll say something, they'll report it, they'll turn that information in, and they can start to corroborate all of the information that they're getting to be like, okay, here's what we have. Here's what we can prove. But the circumstances of the shooting drew renewed attention to the escalating threat of political violence in the United States that in the last several weeks has cut across ideological spectrum. The assassination drew bipartisan condemnation, but a national reckoning over ways to prevent political grievances from manifesting, damn, they got all these big words in here, as deadly violence seemed elusive. Let me say this. All those news stations, everybody's posted this. To be honest, I think they're doing this also for political reasons. They're not doing this because they truly care about Charlie. They're not doing this because they're sad for him. They're doing this because they would look like total dicks if they didn't at least speak about this publicly and act like it didn't actually happen. Y'all remember the damn fool that stabbed that Ukrainian woman on the train? Or on the train, not the bus, but on the train. They ignored that. They ignored that, and they're like, we're not going to show that. But this one, they're just like, you know what? We got in so much trouble last time for not saying nothing. I think the way that we need to go is we need to say something about it, so that way we can just look better. We can have our coattails covered on this one. And I think that ought to scare y'all more than anything, the fact that the media is only going to feed you what it is that is good for them, what is good for their balance, for their views, right? To be honest with you, there's a lot of, like, I know some of y'all might think Donald Trump is crazy for calling these news media people out and these news companies out. But I don't remember a time when they've been this involved in politics. I thought their job was to get us the information, to get us what's real, to get us the news, to get us all sides of opinions, rather than they're going to stick to this small scope of what they feel like is best for their political beliefs. The videos posted to social media from Utah Valley University show Kirk speaking into a handheld microphone while sitting under a white tent emblazoned with the slogans, the American comeback and prove me wrong. which again, he's inviting a conversation, not a fight. He's inviting a conversation. You said in the chat the man tried to kill his sister and she dropped the charges. He was released and now has stabbed a Ukrainian woman on the train. You know, I'll get in a lot of trouble if I say what I really want to say about that story. Thank you, Sapphire, for posting that. I didn't speak about that story because it didn't have anything to do with a kid. I was very saddened for that woman. Very saddened. And I actually watched that video all the way through. It broke my heart, man, to just watch her, an actual refugee, claiming asylum, leaving Ukraine, coming to the United States, and she did it the right way. And somebody here, due to politics, allowed this man to be out when he should not have been out. He is a danger to society, and took that woman's life. Again, it's like we don't want to do what's right. We want to do what's political, and I think that's insane. That's where we're at. That's why this type of stuff keeps happening, because we want to make it about politics rather than make it about what's right and wrong. Prove me wrong. He wants to have a conversation. A single shot rings out and Kirk can be seen reaching up with his right hand as a large volume of blood gushes from the left side of his neck. And I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all haven't seen the video, if you don't look it up, I don't blame you. It is extremely sad. Stunned spectators are heard gasping and screaming before people started running away. The AP, the Associated Press, was able to confirm the videos were taken at Sorensen Center courtyard on the Utah Valley University campus. So those videos are real. It was actually real footage. People was just recording. Kurt was speaking at a debate hosted by his nonprofit political organization. Immediately before the shooting, Kurt was taking questions from an audience member about a mass shooting and gun violence. They asked, and I quote, "Do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the past 10 years?" The person asked, and Kurt responded, "Too many." The questioner followed up, "Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?" Counting or not counting gang violence, Kurt asked. And that's when it happened. We're not going to show it, so I hope you guys didn't come over here to see that video. I'm not a damn fool. I'm not going to sit here and play it, right? If you want to see it that bad, take your time and go look it up. It is extremely a gruesome scene. It's a gruesome thing to look at. Then that's when the single shot rang out. The shooter, who Cox pledged would be held accountable in the state with the death penalty, wore dark clothing and fired from a rooftop on campus some distance away. They're thinking about 200 yards away, roughly. The death was announced on social media by Trump, who praised the 31-year-old Kirk, the co-founder and CEO of the youth organization Turning Point USA, as great and even legendary. Later Wednesday, he released a recorded video from the White House in which he called Kirk a martyr for truth and freedom and blamed the rhetoric of the radical left for the killing. So again, here's what I want y'all to remember. People that are leftists or on the left or have that idealism and they believe that this is not a political thing, I want y'all to think about this. What ended up happening to Donald Trump when they called him Hitler? What happened to them? What happened to him when they said about that that he's the greatest threat to the United States and our democracy? What happened to him when people were saying that we're going to end back up in chains and slavery? What happened to him when people were saying all of these bad things about a person running for president of the United States? Calling him an existential threat. I know I didn't say that word right, but whatever. That's the best I can do. They called him an existential threat. They tried to do the exact same thing and tried to shoot and kill him. So yes, I'm blaming the leftists, the media, and the rhetoric. That is exactly what this is. Utah Valley University said the campus was immediately evacuated and remained closed. Classes were canceled until further notice. Those still on campus were asked to stay in place until officers could safely escort them off campus. Armed officers walked around the neighborhood boarding the campus, knocking on doors and asking for information on the shooter. Officers were seen looking at a photo on their phones and showing it to people to see if they recognized a person of interest. The event billed as the first stop on Kirk's American Comeback Tour had generated a popularizing campus reaction. An online petition calling for the university administrators to bar Kirk from appearing received nearly 1,000 signatures. The university issued a statement citing last week First Amendment rights and affirming its commitment to free speech, intellectual inquiry, and constructive dialogue. But we believe in the right to free speech. But y'all wanted to stop this man's free speech petitioning, and the petitioning didn't work. They said he has a right to be able to have this and speak. And then they said, you know what, we're going to take your right away by taking your life. We're going to take your voice away. Is that what freedom of speech looks like in America in 2025? I'm just curious. Maybe somebody can correct me in the chat. If you guys are listening, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, type something in the chat and let me know. Maybe I got it wrong. Is that what free speech looks like? That if you speak freely, you could die for what you say? I just want to know what to be prepared for. So if I got to walk around with a bulletproof vest when I go places and go speak, or if I have to sit here and hire security while I'm doing my goddamn podcast and have guns on the table and ammunition and constantly be ready for a threat to maybe come kick in my door for speaking my mind about what I feel like is right, I just want to know what the effing rules are. That's it. So I'm not going to read the rest of this article. I'm going to go ahead and keep this thing moving. Let me give you guys the fair usage. I'm going to let you take a look at the news videos. We only got a couple of them. And I'm going to show you the alleged suspect, the person that they thought they caught at first. But I think he's been released. I don't think this is him.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
If y'all would do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up and share this video, that would greatly help me out. But let me show, I got a couple of news videos. They're relatively short, but let's take a look and see what we got.
Because we are getting new reporting in right now from the president about Charlie Kirk, as this was actually a fatal shooting coming down right now on Truth Social from the president of the United States, saying the great, even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, family. Charlie, we love you. So obviously an unfortunate finality to this as the shooting transpiring at Utah Valley University. And I just want to put up just some of these scenes one more time of the suspect still very much at large, that according to the university right now. But President Trump saying on social media that Charlie Kirk, the conservative commentator, is dead. An unfortunate moment here in time as we were talking about the political violence that continues to be heightened.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Oh my God.
Wait, Cody, go, run. Oh. Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
What the fuck?
You guys okay? Okay, love you. Be safe. Okay, be safe. Apparently there's been a shooting. I don't know who's been shot. We are here live at Utah Valley State University. I don't know if that was shots or if that was fireworks.
That's a lot of people, Utah, I'll tell you what. All right, we're going to get started, everybody. You know how it works, question and answer. Also, thank you to Lane from Y-Refi. That was great. Really appreciate it. And we're going to be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
We did receive video of the moment that shot rang out. We heard from our Aaron Katursky, Bob, that reports say that possibly that bullet hitting Charlie Kirk's neck, as our Aaron Katursky was describing, you could actually see blood pouring out. We did hear straight from Charlie Kirk's organization that he co-founded, Turning Point USA, that he is in the hospital and they are all praying for him. Prayers coming from the President of the United States to those involved in his organization, those that have been on the tour with him. Aaron Katursky, anything new that you have learned as we will continue, of course, to hit the top of the hour here? We're trying to get as much information as possible about the condition of Charlie Kirk after being shot there on the university campus in Utah.
It seemed, according to eyewitness accounts and by law enforcement experts who have viewed the video, to be a very difficult injury from the single shot that struck Charlie Kirk. So everyone in the administration is sending prayers for his survival and well-being, but everyone is also braced for what could be some difficult news, Kira, because the single shot struck Charlie Kirk. Eyewitnesses said they saw a lot of blood coming from him, and then they all scattered. Now the university is urging everyone to leave campus to allow police to conduct the investigation. The suspect that was taken into custody, according to eyewitness accounts, was heard screaming, "I do it again," described as an older male wearing a blue shirt, someone who has white hair, but we've heard nothing else about the suspect, if it is indeed himself or his condition. So far, the local police have said nothing. It's only the university that's now urging everyone to clear out of campus, Kira.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assaults, The left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence.
Want y'all to hear this again. I think this is well said. He's just saying, let's have the conversation. I don't know why people all of a sudden want to end your life because you want to have a conversation and find some common ground with people. That's weird to me. So what do you do when you're married and you can't find common ground? What do? You take their life? You take the person that you're with, you take their life? You don't find common ground with your kids. What do? You beat them up? You try to end their life? Families disagree about stuff all the time, but you don't want to find no common ground? You've never run a business before? You don't want to try to find no common ground? You don't want to have the conversation?
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, and because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assaults. The left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in all this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
Now, this is the person that they initially stopped. I'm going to stretch this out so you can see it a little bit better. But I don't think that this is the right person. But this is one of the first people that they stopped. Because they got a description, and this is who they dragged up out of there in handcuffs. But they still do have a person in custody as a suspect, as a person of interest, I should say. But this was the first person of interest.
Asked.
How dare you! 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 You're such a monster! What a monster! Such a monster! Monster! A monster! How dare you!
Back it up! Back it up!
How dare you! How dare you! You're a freaking monster! Yeah!
I don't know. He said he shot him, but I don't know, dude.
Man, what a crazy, crazy scene. A situation is very sad. And all of this behind. Because y'all didn't want to debate him. Maybe you lost to him in the debate. Maybe you couldn't debate the things that he was saying. And I'm just like, if that's the world we're living in, then we don't have freedom of speech. We don't have freedom. We might as well be a third world country, and that's really where we're on our way to. So to Charlie Kirk, R.I.P. If y'all wonder why I speak about this story, because if nothing else, forget the politics, forget the debates. Right there, this man was a father. He was a devoted father, a devoted husband. He was a provider, a caretaker. And from what it seems to be, a good man with a level head. And I want y'all to think about this. We need more fathers in this world. We need more good men in this world. If you want good men, you have to raise good boys. If you want good girls, if you want good women, you have to raise good girls, right? This man seemed to be a person, and I want black people to take a look at this because I've already seen some folks. I'm not going to call their names out. Some of these people out there who are considered to be activists, I'm not going to even say what state, but just know I'm watching, and I saw what they posted, and what they posted was disgusting. People I've known for a long time, and watch what they posted was flat out disgusting. And I think to myself, so because you're on this side, it's okay. Now, what if that pendulum swings? Because that pendulum swing, y'all know what a pendulum is, right? When that pendulum swings from one side back to the other side, and now you're in the position of being an activist and you're out there speaking, and you're speaking about what's going wrong with your side, and somebody decides to end your life for trying to advocate for a person or a situation or a business or whatever is going on, or an ideal. You're arguing over an ideal, and somebody decides to come and take your life for it. Should we not care? Should we wish death on your family? That pendulum swing and that energy that you put out there will always come back for you. Energy never dies. It lives on. And I want y'all guys to think about that, and for anybody who watches us to think about that. We lost a good man. We lost a good human. We lost a good father. We lost a good husband. We lost a good example of somebody who built themselves up, tried to do it the right way, and wanted to make a difference in this world for the betterment of everybody. If he's wrong for doing that, then I'm sorry. I don't want to be right. And I'm not trying to be cliche either. Thank you guys so much for listening to this political episode with an open mind as well as an open heart. Charlie and your family, we wish you our thoughts and our prayers. Rest in peace. Thank you. What's going on? American Crime and Vice Stories in the building. What up, what up? Y'all do me a favor. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Let me know what cities. Let me know what states. Where you guys watching from. Make sure you guys, if we have content creators in the chat, make sure that you guys go and subscribe to those content creators. Subscribe to, let me see, American Crime and Vice Stories. Do you have content on your channel? Let me make sure that you do. Yes, you do. Do you want me to post the link to your channel? If you do, let me know. Because I know you don't have a moderator in, so you can't post it yourself. But I can post it in the chat if you want me to share your channel so we can get some AFC subscribers over there. I don't mind, but let me know. Because I'll do it only if you give me the permission. I want to make sure and put some respect on your name, okay? Let me know. Where you guys watching from? We're on story number 2 out of 5. Thank you, and shout out to Tanea for keeping us on track. We had some people who were able to donate. Where's Jimmy D at? Jimmy D, thank you very much for donating, and shout out to Yvonne J. Where are you at? Said, love you, Jay, from Dallas. Shout out to Yvonne J. in the building. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to Reeves, and shout out to Ash and Emmy. And thank you guys for the super chats. Let me get these videos up here real quick. And I actually am going to contact the family and let them know that I'm actually about to talk about this story. So I'm actually in contact with this family. And shout out to them, by the way, okay? You say, yeah, it's cool. So American, can't spell. San Antonio, Oklahoma. Okay, yeah, all right, Reesh. Let me see. American Crime and Vice Stories. If you guys would like to, please go over there and go subscribe. We have a content creator in the chat. Whenever we get content creators over here, I want to try to make sure that we go subscribe to them. We can all share this YouTube thing together, okay? Newport, Washington, love the podcast. Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate that. Y'all hit that thumbs up. If y'all hit that thumbs up to the tune of 300 thumbs up, I'm going to give away at least 5 channel memberships for free. We're at 146 right now. We're at 147. Thank you, whoever hit that thumbs up. We need 300, so we're just under halfway there. Why can't we all just agree to disagree? Why can't we just let these people have their rally, have their Trump rallies, have their Biden and Harris rallies, and ain't nobody got to die for having their rallies. People ought to be able to congregate and do what they do. Like that stuff is sick. Imagine me coming from the promotion world and I don't like how a person promotes their parties, so I decide to go do my own parties, right? I don't like how this person does their parties, so I go decide to do my own. So imagine them stop doing what they're doing to come over and come hate on my stuff rather than just stay at the party that they do like. You're going to come all the way over here to come hate on little old me. Let me reach out to her real quick. Y'all give me a second. I'm going to put this on mute because y'all need to hear our conversation. All right. Now, some of y'all been telling me to reach out to the family members, right? So out of respect, I usually do. I usually try to reach out there and catch some people. So in this case, I was very lucky to be able to reach this awesome family. And yes, this is going to be a political episode, but also this is going to be about kids as well. Okay? So here we go. Story number 2. You're a lip. Hey, don't y'all be reading my lips. Don't be encouraging people to do that. Actually, let me shame on y'all to give y'all a spanking right now. I'm going to give you a YouTube spanking. Y'all don't do that. All I said was I'm getting ready to, you can lip read all you want. All I said was I'm getting ready to talk about your story, and I called out of respect to let them know that I was getting ready to speak about the story, okay? Y'all is crazy in the chat. All right, here we go. Y'all hit that thumbs up. Here we go. You guys know that I am an avid person. I love to watch Fox News. I support them and what they do. Hold on. Let me start that over. Hold on. So some of you guys might actually know that I watch a lot of Fox News, so shout out to them. I think they do a really good job as far as presenting information and doing interviews and giving a real broad perspective about a lot of things and not just pigeonholing. Pigeonholing was the word I was looking for. As far as just being stuck in one view, only being stuck in one side of politics and not really sharing both sides. So I ended up coming across this story, and I actually saw these awesome women that you guys just saw on my screen, which is this young lady right there. That's her grandson. And I saw the mother of this boy on there, and they did an interview that really, really took my breath away because this is something I've been speaking about for a very long time. I don't know how many of you guys have been watching my channel. Maybe y'all can post in there. How long have you guys been subscribers of the AFC podcast? And maybe you can say in there, type in the chat, how long have you guys heard me say that maybe it's time for us to bring the troops in Chicago, right? Because the violence gets ridiculous. I have a number of videos that I've talked about the violence in Chicago, and it's just like, you know what? This is not a self-fixing situation. Somebody needs to come in there and redirect it. Somebody needs to come in there and redirect it, right? So I think that's the situation we have going on here. Let me give you guys the fair usage before we get into the stream. Shout out to Mommy of 3. Let's get into my disclaimer.
Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, new website articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer.
Thank you, Mommy of Three, who read that for me. So I'm getting two articles. I'm reading one from yahoo.com, so shout out to Yahoo, and then CWBchicago.com. Two different articles, and I'm going to read that for a reason because they both posted very different information. So I want to make sure I get this right. If I get this wrong, they can type in the chat. In order to type in the chat, you got to be subscribed. Once you subscribe, you got to be able to type in that chat. Let me know if I get something in here wrong. But this is literally from the article, so I'm quoting this. A mother from Chicago's South Side who lost her teenage son to gun violence. I always call this thugs with guns because I hate when people refer to it as gun violence. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. Have y'all noticed every live stream that I do, every video that I post, I have my weapon sitting right here. At least one of them, one of many of, sitting right here. Do you know how many times that weapon has gotten up, jumped up and hurt somebody or did anything or threatened somebody without the owner actually taking a hold of that tool and doing something with it? It's never done anything on its own. So I think it's weird to refer to an item, a tool, as a violent tool, right? It almost kind of be like getting drunk and then saying car violence rather than a drunk driver. Do you guys understand that? That's probably the best analogy I've made in a while. It's like a person going to go get drunk and high and then calling it car violence. You end up in an accident that takes somebody's life and you call it car violence. Don't you think that's weird? We don't do that with anything else except for guns. That sounds politically motivated. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to it. But I always call it thugs with guns. Lost her teenage son to thugs with gun violence. Said the crime was worsened in the city since her childhood. It's gotten worse. The boys pulled up right behind our house. They shot him down in the alley. I mean, I was home. His brother was home. We literally found my son on the ground in the alley taking his last breath. And this is according to Marquita Sally, Salley, I hope I say her name correctly, but that's the mother. So shout out to the mom. Sally's son, and this young man right here, Gregory Bernard Wilson III, was shot and killed on March 13th of 2023 in the Chatham neighborhood on the south side of Chicago, and he was only 16 years old. Another reason why this story really hits home for me, because I have two children very near to this age, and I could only imagine if something happened to one of my babies, right? So it's extremely sad. It hits home to a father that has kids that's the exact same age. Police opened a homicide investigation into Wilson's killing, according to the Chicago Sun-Times. Sally, who's 41 years old, told Fox News Digital that she is going to court on September the 18th. So depending on when you guys are watching this, this is roughly about a week from now, with today being September the 10th. So about a week from now, so on September the 18th. The person that did this, he is in jail, and we are not looking for him to get out ever, Sally's mother, which is the grandmother, her name, she likes to go by Gail, so I'm going to call her Miss Gail. Also, it said it right here. I'm sorry. I should have just read that. It said Miss Gail. So that's according to Miss Gail. Wilson was struck in his left arm, his chest, and chin on the 400 block of East 88th Street, according to the Chicago Police and Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. Wilson was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Grieving Wilson's death has been a challenge for the family to overcome. And I don't think that's something you ever overcome. When holidays and birthdays and stuff come around, we're all together, but the process itself has been rough. Like a lot of people say, they get on TV. Oh, my kid was a good kid. My kids didn't do this. My kids didn't do that. My kid was a boy, so of course he did stuff as far as fighting and all of that stuff. Let me say this. That right there, shout out to the mom, gives me a whole new level of respect. Because at least you're not coming here trying to fake this thing and make it seem like he was just this perfect angel, had a 4.5 GPA, and he was a choir boy. He was in church all the time, and you know what I'm saying? Like, kids are imperfect. They do imperfect things, and the fact that you can sit there and say that, I'm not saying he's a saint, but that's my baby, that's my son, and I love my kid. I can respect that so much. So let's move on. But as far as guns and selling drugs and robbing and stealing and killing, I didn't have that type of child, and I feel like he got robbed, unfortunately, of his life by somebody else's child who unfortunately is into those things. Growing up on Chicago's South Side, Sally said crime has worsened since she was a kid. It's gotten worse from when I grew up until now. When I grew up, I could walk from King Drive to Stony Island without a care in the world. I'm 41 now, so me and her are roughly about the same age. I'm a little bit older than her. So in my teenage years, me and my girl cousins, even my boy cousins, all of us together were just walking down the street and laughing and having a good time. Right now, my son could tell me he's walking to the convenience store around the corner, and I'm like, no, you're not. You're not. It's that bad. It has changed tremendously. Over Labor Day weekend, y'all catch this. Over Labor Day weekend, one holiday, there's been at least 32 shootings that took place in Chicago, leaving 8 people dead and dozens more wounded, according to police. I've been saying this for years. Think about how long it takes to make a human being. From the point of meeting somebody, getting to know them, getting into a relationship. You know, if that's even if you're even courting anybody, right? You get into a relationship and eventually you become sexual with that person. Eventually that woman conceives with that man, you know, which usually takes about 2 weeks roughly within that time frame. Then that woman carries that child, that precious human life, for 9 months. If everything goes right, that woman by that 9th month will go through labor, hours and hours of labor, depending on who the person is in the situation, will give birth in an unbelievably painful situation that only mothers understand, right? A mother's love is different. To give birth to a child after carrying it and having to protect it for that long, give birth, raise it up, learn how to love it, teach it to speak, teach it to walk, teach it to feed itself and clean itself and all of that stuff, and do it for all of these years. You're talking about, you know, buying clothes and shoes and education and sports and this and that and family members and traveling and sleeping and sickness and health and all of this stuff for 16 freaking years. For one bastard, one stupid ass individual who did not have a father figure to look up to so that they could have an example of what they should grow up and become. So since he didn't value himself, he didn't value anybody else, he didn't value, let me back this picture up like a U-Haul truck one time, did not value this young man who has a family and people who loved and cared about him, took his life because the man that took his life did not have value in himself. And you know what? Here's the thing. There is no picture of that suspect out there until now. So on the AFC podcast, because this fool is currently 19 years old, I'm going to put this out there so you guys are seeing this, who are familiar with this story, will be seeing this for the very first time. This is the thug by way of his actions, not his skin color, right? Do I need to say that again? No, I don't. Amir Stewart is the person that is currently being held and will be going through trial for the death of that young man. Amir Stewart is the person that we believe took the life of Gregory Wilson III. That is his face. It'll roll through the pictures in here so you guys can see it again, but I don't want to make sure that y'all know. Out of all these years I've been doing this podcast, I haven't had to do a retraction yet. The information that we put out there has been pretty spot on, right? In my humble opinion, I don't know that Amir dude from a can of paint, but in my opinion, the only reason why you could do something like this is if you didn't value yourself, you didn't value your future, which, as you guys can see, when I read stories like this, and it says over a holiday weekend, I am reading this from yahoo.com, that 32 people have been shot, and knowing how long it takes to make a life to even raise it up to be old enough to be shot, you could just take a life and say, damn, anybody who was injured of those 32 people could have died. That means you are losing people at a faster rate than you can create them. That's what genocide looks like. Right? Here's what brings me to my next point. And I don't think I need to read the rest of this. Here's what brings me to my next point. I have watched these goddamn politicians get out here and talk about these mayors, these governors, these police chiefs, or whatever the hell else, these political activists come out and talking about, we don't want Trump bringing the troops to our neighborhoods and to our streets, making us feel afraid and scared. Y'all have heard them say this, right? They say they don't want to live their life in fear from military or the National Guard being in their neighborhoods, patrolling their streets, and tanks driving on their streets. They don't want that. That makes them feel unsafe. Not the fact that you can get effing carjacked. Not the fact that you could get stabbed on a freaking train after leaving Ukraine and coming over to this country for asylum purposes because you fear death in your own country. You come over to this MFer and then you turn around and get stabbed on a train by somebody who shouldn't have had his ass out of jail, right? For people who believe in cashless bail, the recidivism rate for people going in and out of prison, continue to keep going to prison, getting out, going to prison, getting out. You see it's a pattern that these people are not going to be fixed by continuing to just sit them there, letting them out. They haven't learned anything, right? These are the same people that when you get carjacked and you get shot in the ass, you know what they say? We're going to chalk this up as a fight or an injury or something. It's the way that they label it so that it doesn't make their crime numbers go up. But the people who live in these cities, who live in fear, live in these areas like your DCs and your South Sides of Chicago, they know that this shit ain't safe. Here's the difference. F what them politicians is talking about. Why do people keep voting for them? Why do people keep voting left? Why do people keep voting for Democrats? All I'm saying is if one side of shit that y'all are voting for is not working, why not vote for the other side? Why not give the middle a try? Why not give the right side a try? Why not try something different? You know what they say? Whenever a person continues to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't work, it doesn't fix anything, right? What should you do? Continue to keep going in the same pattern, the same direction? I think not. Change your thinking. The reason why I bring that up is because I humbly believe that's exactly what this family represents now. I believe that's what they represent now. And I want y'all to hear their words from their mouth. They did an interview, and they are now speaking out, and they're saying, you know what? We would welcome the troops. We would welcome somebody to come in and immediately affect change. They did it in D.C., and I've actually heard people in D.C. actually interview and said, I've lived here my whole life, and I have never heard it this quiet, never felt it this safe. What do you have to lose? You're losing your kids, you're losing your cousins and your friends and family members and loved ones and people you went to school with by the hundreds. 32 people in one weekend is a lot. One single person would be a lot, let alone 30 plus. That's insane. So let me show you guys this. Let me give you guys a fair usage, and then we'll go from there. Short video, but I want y'all to hear it directly from the family. Let's get it.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Y'all would do me a favor and please hit that thumbs up. That's the best way to share this video. And we hope the stories like this can go viral, because I think that their son's life mattered. You know why? And I always tell people this. People always ask me, like, why do I do what I do? Why do I talk about this stuff? Why do I wear these shirts? Why do I make these shirts and pay for them and wear them? Because I am a concerned father and I have kids, their kids' age. And it matters to me because what affects their kids could affect mine. What they're going through could affect mine, right? Same situation, which is why I believe that we need to take a stance and stand on business and stop standing on stuff that doesn't really mean anything, right? So I'm going to show you guys this interview. Let me go ahead and get into this. And matter of fact, let me say this real quick before we get into this video. And I want the people of Southside Chicago specifically, don't threaten me. You don't like my words. Just hear me out for a second. Do you guys know why your elected leaders, your politicians, are telling the president, Donald Trump, our current president, that y'all don't want them to send in the troops. You don't want them coming in and interfering with what police are doing or anything like that. We don't need tanks on the ground and more guns in the street and blah, blah, blah. You know why they say that? Because guess where they're sitting at? Guess where they're laying their heads at night? They got these big, nice, cushy houses in neighborhoods that are not by yours, right? And cars that are not like yours, and homes that are not like yours, with finances that are not like yours, protection that is not like yours. Their kids don't go to your kids' schools. None of this stuff affects their kids. None of this stuff affects any of their family members. I want y'all to think about that. When y'all get up and go vote, the next time it is to vote, y'all should be voting in anything and everything. The reason why it doesn't matter to them and why they don't want anything to change and why they want to keep the leadership the exact same way it is, while you keep getting the same results, the same deaths, the same funerals, the same way that it's being, is because it doesn't affect them. Y'all got to vote their asses out. Y'all got to speak up and y'all got to say something. Let's get into this. Here we go.
My son went outside. The boys pulled up right behind our house. They shot him down in the alley. I mean, I was home. His brother was home. We found my son literally on the ground in the alley taking his last breath. My name is Marquita Sally. I'm from the south side of Chicago, born and raised here. I'm a mother of 3 boys that was also born and raised here. Unfortunately, my oldest was shot and killed here in Chicago. When holidays and birthdays and stuff come around, we are together. But the process itself has been rough.
She was just learning to drive. The car outside that I'm driving now would have been his right now today. But we didn't have those opportunities because he was taken away from us too early. My name is Miss Gail. My grandson is Gregory Wilson III. You got people still robbing, stealing, killing. Just the other day, a 5-year-old boy got killed, shot in the head. It's like it's never gonna end. So if Mr. Trump want to bring these troops to Chicago, hey, bring them on. What we got to lose? You know what I'm saying? Put it in. So if Mr. Trump want to bring these troops to Chicago, hey, bring them on. What we got to lose? Stealing, killing. Just the other day, a 5-year-old boy got killed, shot in the head. It's like it's never gonna end. So if Mr. Trump want to bring these troops to Chicago, hey, bring them on. What we got to lose?
She said, bring them on. What do we have to lose? And again, shout out to her. I think she is a beautiful person. I think she's an awesome person. That's the grandmother. That's Miss Gail. And I 100% agree with her. And that's the message that I've been preaching this entire time. If the way that that city is handling their business is getting out the same exact results, it might be worth doing something different. And like she said, what do you have to lose? Well said. Well said, Miss Gail. Well said. Let's keep going.
You know what I'm saying? Put some fear in, let them know that they here, they want, to protect the city of Chicago. We got elderly people afraid to ride the red line. You got kids can't go outside and play. You got women don't want to walk at night alone.
In my teenage years, the age that my kids are now, me and my girl cousins, even my boy cousins, all of us together, just walking down the street, laughing, talking, having a good time. Right now, my son could tell me he's walking to the convenience store around the corner. No, you are not. You have to be head on with your kids nowadays. You can't beat around the bush because at this point in Chicago, they life at stake.
Do you think the community has been heard by the government, the mayor, that kind of stuff? Has there been any positive movement?
No, I'm gonna tell you something. No, they focus. This 24/7. Everything. The migrants came here, babe. They had everything in the whole wide world they wanted.
And we got homeless people here.
You know what I'm saying?
They just allow.
How many times have y'all heard me speak on that? Your elected officials chose people from other countries, gave them the right of passage to be here when they came here illegally, and rewarded it for them, gave them gifts, gave them money cards, gave them food stamp cards, gave them housing for free. When they act like they can't house our homeless veterans, y'all don't find that crazy? People who've actually fought for our country, people who have violated their own country rules and laws, and then come over here and you just say, we're going to give them the world, and that's a wonderful, great thing to do, give them all the resources. Y'all remember when I talked about that, when they emptied out the, was it the Red, it wasn't the Red Cross funding. What was it? It was not Red Cross. It was FEMA. The FEMA funding. Ran those funds out, providing all of this housing for people who chose to come to this country and did it the wrong way. And she's speaking about that. They said, forget y'all. And that should really scare black people. I don't know why that don't scare black people. Like, I talk to my people all the time, and I'm trying to tell them, I'm like, yo, that doesn't scare you? The fact that your own kids are now second class to these people. You don't know where they came from, what their backgrounds are, and they don't even have the same values idealistically that we do. They don't see kids as precious commodities that you need to protect and grow them up. You know what they do? A lot of them do with these kids? Whatever they want to do to them, which is why they're getting arrested for this stuff here, right? You know, they're kidnapping these kids, sex trafficking these kids, S.A. in these kids, R.A.P.I.N.G. in these kids, right? And those are the people they're standing up for and saying, we need to stop ICE from eradicating our country from these people, taking them out of our country. They're not taking them out in the backyard and shooting them. They're just literally taking them out and say, sir, you didn't do it right. Go back to your country, and then maybe at a later time, you could do it the right way. And we're against that. We're against ICE enforcement, which is literally just trying to protect our laws and our country and our boundaries. And I'm going to tell y'all, as a black man, it's funny how most black people don't see that they're literally trying to bring these people in, the politicians are, to succeed you. Y'all know that word, succeed? Maybe look it up. Do we have any black people in the audience? Do we have any black people in the chat? I don't know if I do. Maybe y'all didn't hear what I just said. So some of these activists out there that I've heard of speaking about these situations and don't really understand the gravity of what they're saying, they're trying to replace basically your people, your lower income people, either equal to that or below that, and even trying to replace the middle class of black folks. And they tried to bring them in by the millions. Think about that for a moment. So you don't have to sit here and wait for a population to have a bunch of kids and grow them up. You can just say, we're just going to import a couple million people. Now we got our new voting base. That's what she's speaking about. I think that's important. They literally brought these people in and forgot about them. Now, they didn't forget about them. They don't care about them.
You lay outside in the street under Vidox. Y'all could help these people, but yet y'all bring people from
somewhere else.
A lot of people say, they get on TV, oh, my kid was this good kid. My kid didn't do this. My kid didn't do that. My kid was a boy. So, of course, he did the boy stuff as far as fighting and all of that. But as far as guns and selling drugs and robbing and stealing and killing, I didn't have that type of child.
This him right here, Gregory Wilson. He was loved by all and we miss him dearly. But we are in court. The person that did this, he is in jail. And we're not looking for him to get out ever. One thing good about my grandson, he was a cereal eater. You know what I'm saying? He loved him some cereal and he played his video games, go to school and come home. It don't affect just one person in the family, the mother, the father, the grandparent. He got aunties and uncles, you know what I'm saying? Little cousin, he got cousins over there.
Give you the shirt off his back, sweetheart. But they took my little baby, but...
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my
And shout out to Fox News for posting that. Let me read you guys this other article and then we'll move on from there. So I'm reading this from CWBChicago.com. They say a 17-year-old boy shot and killed a 16-year-old boy. Of course, that boy is, let me get his face back up here so y'all can see it. Uh-oh, hold on. Right here. Let me go right here. Hold on, went too far. Right there. Amir Stewart, 19 years old. Right? So he's currently 19 years old. He's an adult. 17-year-old boy shot and killed a 16-year-old boy during a gun sale in a Chicago alley last year. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's funny how all the articles that I read didn't mention anything about this. But CBW Chicago is basically trying to say that this young man right here in the middle was trying to buy a gun. So I got to read this so y'all understand what they're trying to put on him. Whether it be true or not, I don't know. So Amir Stewart, they actually have his name right here. That's wild. Okay, great. So I'm glad I put his picture out there. Amir Stewart and Gregory Wilson, the young man that lost his life, made arrangements for Gregory to buy a gun from Stewart in an alley behind the 400 block of East 88th Street around 6 p.m. on March the 13th of 2023, according to prosecutors. A friend drove Stewart to the alley where Stewart was supposed to stash the firearm. Surveillance video showed Stewart getting out of the car and walking into the alley, police said in a detention petition. Wilson happened to be in the alley too and Stewart shot him several times out of camera view, the petition continued. Moments later, Stewart returned to the camera range with a gun in his hand and got in the car, which left the area. The gun Stewart placed in the alley was a replica firearm, police said. No, prosecutors said. Now, according to the petition, DNA testing showed strong support that he was a major contributor to the genetic material found on the replica gun. Now, Chicago police records show CPD officers first arrested Stewart in connection with the case last summer, but prosecutors rejected murder charges at the time. Stewart was arrested in 2017 for possessing a replica firearm in the city, too, according to CPD records. Prosecutors recently signed off on the murder charge, and police arrested Stewart at his school, Thornton Fractional South High School in suburban Lansing. Judge William Fahey granted the state's detention petition. Don't know if any of that is true or not, but maybe we'll get an opportunity to speak with the family and we can kind of go from there. But again, these need to be used as cautionary tales. So not only for the surviving siblings, but for other young men out there, this could be a cautionary tale that we can actually save some lives. One of the biggest things I think that would save a lot of lives right now is bringing those troops in there, bringing the National Guard in there, and treating it exactly how they did in Washington, D.C. Shout out to our president for doing that, because that's our nation's capital, right? And he had the right to do that, but he has to get permission to do it in other places. So we'll go from there, and hopefully we can bring you guys more information about this, and maybe we can start to get some change in a place that I never thought I would see any change in my lifetime. In Chicago as a whole, but more specifically Southside Chicago. Let's just see what happens, right? You got some of these people out there making videos, some of these little thugs talking about they gonna be ready when the National Guard comes out there. Okay, all right, great. Glad you feel that way. Just know that is what these people freaking train for. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I just would like to see it just surprise, right? Surprise side it, be like Trump come on in and just overnight, just boom, they come in there and fix things right away. I'd love to see some action, and it will save a lot of lives, right? In order to protect the good lives, you got to get the bad people away from them, okay? But thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind as well as an open heart to the story. I promise you we will be doing more of an update on this at a later point, okay? Thank you.